Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vicky and this is my 22-week pregnancy update. If you are new to my channel, I'm 22 weeks pregnant and my channel is all things pregnancy at the moment and also beauty and fashion. I've also got a couple of holiday vlogs that have recently gone up. So if you like what you see, please don't forget to subscribe. Moving on, 22 weeks. This is a bit of a, not a bit of a sad one because it's got a positive ending. But I've had a bit of a rough time the last few days, but I thought twice about putting it on here. I wasn't sure whether to tell you all because it was quite a scary time and a bit personal, but then I thought no, because that's what this is all about. It's about helping people. Anyone that's been in similar situations can maybe let me know, and also anyone that maybe feels like they may be in this position may do something about it after watching this video. So I'm hoping it helps. So I may as well talk about that now because I expect you're all wondering what it is. So I was 22 weeks pregnant on Sunday, just gone, and on Saturday afternoon around 6 p.m. or evening around 6 p.m. I had quite a lot of fluid leak from me. And it was clear fluid, but it was quite a lot, so it was enough that I had to change what I was wearing. And for some reason at the time that it happened I didn't really think much of it, and then typical Vicky, when she's in bed at 10 o'clock at night, mind starts going. I always do that. I start thinking about, you know, what's happened that day, what am I doing the next day, and it just dawned on me that should I have been worried about that? And I was lying there and of course I got my phone out and I googled it, and Google is, you know, the best and the worst thing you can do, but I'm glad I did. So I googled it and of course it said that, you know, my waters could have gone, and at 22 weeks that's not a good story. So I thought, I wasn't really that worried because I had no pains, I had no blood or anything like that, but instantly I got up because what Google was saying is that the fluid should be clear. If it was water, it would be clear, it would be odourless. So this sounds gross, but I got up and got the clothes that I was wearing and checked those things, and they were clear and odourless. I knew it was clear anyway, but they were odourless. I then said to my husband, look, I'm just gonna phone the midwife because it says on here, phone the midwife. So I phoned the midwife and they said you need to phone Bath. So I phoned Bath, and Bath, which is the Royal United Hospital in Bath, is our local biggest hospital, and they said you need to come in. So I said to my husband, look, I'm gonna go in, and he said, oh no, do you want me to come with you? And I said, no, don't worry about it, it's fine, I'm sure I'm gonna get checked and they're gonna say you're fine, you can go home. And I didn't want to upheave Oscar, you know, he was asleep in bed, and I knew that my family, well, my sister's got children, and my younger sister and my mum I knew had both been out, so I just didn't want to phone anyone really, if I was just going to get sent home, and I honestly thought that's what would happen. Got to hospital, they were brilliant, they saw me immediately, got me on bed, did the usual blood pressure, baby's heartbeat, which was all fine, temperature, all the standard stuff, felt baby, fine. The next thing they had to do wasn't particularly nice. If anyone's had a smear test, it was very similar to that. So they got the speculum, I think it's called, and put that in so they could see. And so I had two midwives there. I had a duty midwife and then a senior midwife. And the senior midwife was the one carrying out this procedure. And unfortunately, she said, you know, your waters have broken. So I'm gonna have to get the doctor to come and look, but he's in theatre at the moment. So I was still, at this point I was like, right, I didn't really know what it meant. So I was like, okay, yeah, no, that's fine, I'll wait for him. Then she came in about 20 minutes later and said, look, all best laid plans, he's had to go rush off to see somebody else. Because this was during the night, so this was about midnight by this point. I think they've only got one like doctor in that department, and if they've got cesareans and things like that, then I assume he's got to see to those. So she said, look, because your waters have gone, you are going to have to stay in overnight, and he will be with you as soon as he can. So I suggest you phone your husband, which is exactly what I did. I phoned Simon, I said, look, you better get here. And by this point I was quite worried. I tried not to get upset because I'm quite, once I start getting upset, it then becomes a reality, and I think, no, don't get upset yet. You know, you don't know what's happening. It could be fine. So I stayed strong, and I said, come on, let's come in. And we dropped Oscar off to my older sister's house, and she was great. I had to wake her up at 2, so that was 2 in the morning by this point. So Simon came in, and we both dozed in and out of sleep, which was quite difficult because there are lots of women having babies. But yeah, we dozed in and out of sleep, and then at 5 a.m. the consultant came in. He was lovely, he was so nice, but he started off his conversations by saying, look, you know, the lady that checked your waters have broken is a very senior midwife, so these are your options. So he bent down by the side of the bed and just said, you know, a baby at 22 weeks, unfortunately, doesn't have a great chance, well, probably wouldn't survive. So he said, you've got a few options. He said, either your body will hold on to that water, and we will keep a close eye on you over the next few weeks. So he was talking about me staying in hospital for, you know, a couple of weeks. He said, and then once you reach the 23 to 24 week mark, we would give you antibiotics. If you were 24 weeks now, I would give you antibiotics anyway, because obviously once you've lost the water, that it can cause infection. So he was basically saying I was too early to do anything about it, and I needed to hold on. And he said, if you go into labour and you deliver that baby, unfortunately, you know, it probably wouldn't survive. And it's amazing what difference 1 or 2 weeks can make. And he said some NICU units will take a baby at 23 weeks. So that could be an option. If you go into labour at 23 weeks, we can maybe, you know, do that. He said the other thing is termination. And obviously I heard that, and my heart, I'm getting upset talking about it. Sorry. But my heart just sunk. Because obviously I didn't expect anyone to say that. So when he said that, I thought, oh, great, you know, we haven't got a good chance of any of this. But anyway, things changed very quickly from that point. He did another examination, so another speculum went in, and he said, actually, I'm not sure. Now I've looked at that. He said, you know, the midwife that assessed you was very senior, so I took her word, but actually now I've looked, I can't see lots of fluid there, so I'm not too sure. He said, but have you been up and about? And I said, yeah. And he said, what I want you to do is lie there still for an hour, completely still, on your back, and then I will come and check again a bit later on. And if there is any waters leaking, it would have pooled in your cervix. So he came back, I laid there still, he checked me again and basically said, I'm pretty convinced that your waters haven't gone. So you can imagine the emotional roller coaster. I went from didn't think there was much wrong, to I'm gonna lose my baby, to actually I think it's okay. Now he did say I can't be 100% sure. I did ask for a scan at this point, but he just said that, you know, a scan isn't going to show whether you've lost a little bit of fluid. You know, your waters haven't fully gone, because there'd be a lot more. He said, but I won't be able to measure the amount of fluid in there, because I don't know how much you had in there before, and everyone's different, which he was right. So yeah, he basically said, I'm happy for you to go home, but you just have to keep a really close eye on it. Any more liquid that comes out that is aside from the normal, you need to come back in immediately. So obviously I was really, really relieved, but now I'm feeling quite anxious. I'm a little bit sort of achy down there today, but I assume that was because, you know, I was poked and prodded quite a lot, but any little like feeling is making me really nervous. So yeah, that was that. So sorry if that was a long story, but that was what happened with us. So I just wanted to say that if anyone is worried, the staff were absolutely fantastic. I even said at the end, I feel like I've wasted your time, because you know, you've spent all night on this. And they said, oh, don't be silly, like we would rather check you and make sure everything's all right. And obviously there is still a possibility that my waters could have gone slightly, so what can happen is you can get a small tear in your waters and then they can repair themselves. So what they suggest is just, you know, to be really relaxed and just not do anything too strenuous, just to make sure those waters can repair themselves. I really don't know how I feel. I think I know my body, and I know that the amount of fluid that came out of me was not normal, and also once I got to hospital I had to sit on like a pad, and there was quite a lot of, you know, fluid on there as well. So I'm on edge a little bit, if I'm honest. I feel like I just want these next few weeks to go fast, because obviously once a baby reaches 24 weeks the survival rate is a lot higher. It's still not, you know, 100%, but the difference in those 2 weeks is big. Obviously I don't want to have this baby anytime before 40 weeks. I want it to be healthy and happy and strong, but that is where I am now, so I will update all of you next week. But aside from that, so before that happened, I was feeling completely fine. I feel baby move all the time. So the really important thing since this has happened as well is that I felt baby move lots and lots and lots, and I'm really happy with the amount he's moving. I will do a little update on my bump, so I'll just give you a quick look at my bump. So it probably hasn't changed much again from last week, but there we are. So lots of my friends have said to me, you're all bump, so which is quite nice, exactly how I was with Oscar. So that's my bump. So symptoms, apart from the horrible time that I had, nothing really, just feeling a bit more tired. So I'm going to really rest this week. I'm not going to go to the gym. I might go for a couple of slow walks just to keep my activity levels up. But I'm definitely not going to go to the gym because I'm not putting my baby at risk. And also, just on that point, the reason this happened was nothing to do with me going to the gym. It happened on a Saturday when me and Simon had been shopping and we'd been for lunch. I hadn't even had Oscar for a couple of hours because my mum had had him. I'd worked in the morning, but I sit down when I do people's hair. I hadn't been to the gym since Thursday. It is nothing to do with anything. He actually said to me, have you done anything strenuous? And we hadn't. So yeah, that's it really. There's no explanation as to why it happened. But anyway, I'm going to take it easy this week. There was only one other symptom that I forgot to say, and I actually thought, why have I forgotten to say this in all my videos? But my boobs are massive, and I know that they will be bigger when I get my milk. They are really, really big at the moment. So I have had to buy loads of new bras. That does happen to me. So yeah, that's one of my symptoms. Other than that, feeling completely fine. And I'm just really looking forward to getting through these next few weeks. So fingers crossed, I have a positive update for you next week. So stay tuned, and I hope that this is a positive pregnancy from now on. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to give me a like and subscribe. Bye.